WWE are reportedly blocking AEW from running certain venues. A WWE star is set to return soon, and we've got an update on the Elite's AEW contract status. Stay tuned for all the deets. So AEW have been on the rise in the wrestling world since their explosive debut, and very quickly obviously ran up against WWE, and they've been kind of just like bumper carring off each other a little bit. And AEW's, it's like dodgems, but AEW's starting to learn that WWE knows all the ways to play dirty, and now it's getting interesting. So this one comes from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. WWE has put clauses in their contracts with venues that block AEW from running shows in the same arena for a certain number of weeks before or after a WWE show there. As part of that clause, it also blocks AEW or the arena from announcing a show or selling tickets for a show until WWE's event has taken place. And this is just going to keep happening. It's going to get weirder, more legal, more clausy, but it's not entirely surprising.
No, it's not. I think people obviously are jumping on the fact. Tony Khan said at the press conference at Double or Nothing that he doesn't mind ethical competition. And this on paper seems unethical, but I imagine it's fairly similar for a lot of major industries where they don't want to have that competition in markets, and they go, well, you know, it's a no compete almost. But yeah, it is interesting that WWE is going, you can't.
It's a cool down period, right? And a warm up period as well. I guess the thing is, you can't run two big wrestling shows, say 2 weeks apart in the same venue, because if one's announced and it sells well, and then the second one's announced, it might not do as well, or it might flip and it might be the other way around. It kind of divides what could be full houses for both companies at separate dates, I guess. But so they can maybe sort of explain it away as, we're just looking out for the industry, pal. But it's very kind of, it's not surprising. Not at all.
And we're also quite, we've not yet seen AEW and WWE run so close to each other that that we've appeared to have seen that has been an issue. That maybe the clauses in the contracts have stopped this, but we've not seen them go head to head a few weeks apart in the same city. Continental United States is quite massive, so
that's the thing.
They should be able to space out where their shows are.
For like the largest portion of the Monday Night Wars, it was very sort of dotted around. It was very sort of opposite ends, and I think that's all you got to do is sort of it just both companies need to just be mindful of where they're booking, I guess. Certain shows though, if it's like, hey, we're planning on running either one of these three venues, that might be why this comes in handy, because it's sort of you can kind of get all of this put in way ahead of time, and it's like, well, they can't run here and they can't do that around this big show.
I mean,
like pay-per-views especially, you've got to think is what they're maybe thinking about more here.
That's the thing, especially WWE's been branching out and where they host shows. So they maybe, if for example Backlash in Puerto Rico, they probably don't want to, on the AEW capitalizing on the momentum that they got there, this massive passionate diehard crowd, and AEW go, we'll do a show now,
we'll just go do it,
we'll go and do it. But maybe hopefully this will lead to more diverse locations for both companies. AEW seems to run the same cities, and it seems to be a little bit detrimental to their attendance. A
little bit, but you do have to build up that strong core audience. They're still a very young company in terms of being a wrestling promotion, and I think that they're starting to branch out more and more, and I think they're doing it at the correct pace. They're getting on the road properly.
Excited to see how the Tour of Canada goes.
This is it. So Tour of Canada is going to be cool. The first big UK show is going to be massive, and then hopefully we'll see repeat dates down the line for maybe TV tapings or whatever.
Absolutely.
But it's not surprising in the least. But moving it over to Raw now, World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins has issued an open challenge for his championship on his Twitter page by saying, "My man Big E was the last defender of the crown in November 2021. What? Let's change that. Open challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship is officially live for this Monday night in Hartford. Line them up." It's since got answered on Twitter by Judgment Day's Damian Priest in what will be his first shot at a world title in WWE. Now, Rollins and Styles defeated the Judgment Day's Priest and Balor in tag action on last week's Raw. Reports came out recently that WWE also viewed him as a potential main eventer one day, and
that one day is not that long away. It seems. Hopefully, this is the start.
Imagine he just walks in, just takes the belt.
I mean, that would be insane, right? But him being positioned as the world title competitor in the Judgment Day, I think is the right move. Finn and Dominic, I think, can have some fun in the tag division, maybe mix things up there. But have Damian Priest and Seth Rollins just get them a match at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think that it's almost a no-brainer, and I like the idea that Rollins is going to be this, openly defending champion. I think that this is going to be maybe a marquee moment for Priest, and maybe something comes out of it that leads to a little bit of a feud, because a feud at that level, as somebody who's seen as a potential future main eventer, you don't need to win it, but it can be a really big boost for his status.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to see that match this coming Monday.
Well, we've got an update about a currently injured WWE talent. Do you want to fill us in there, Fraser?
So big Braun Strowman has revealed on Instagram that he's undergone neck fusion surgery on his C4 and C5 vertebrae. Commenting on Instagram, he said, "Road to recovery starts now. Thank you, WWE, for always taking the utmost care of us. This was scary to find out about having done, and they were there every step of the way, reassuring that I was going to have the best care possible. This will take a little bit of time to heal from, but I assure you, in the words of the Terminator, I'll be back."
Don't talk about the Terminator and Skynet right now. No, well, only AEW people are kind of doing this.
The Wrestling Observer previously reported that Braun Strowman is set to be out of action with an undisclosed injury at the time, but he'd be out for a while. Obviously, it's since been confirmed neck fusion surgery. Yeah. Whereas Ricochet, he's been confirmed for the Money in the Bank ladder match. He's now being positioned as a single star on Raw, but they've not mentioned Braun Strowman's name on commentary in a while.
Well, I think, again, this could be a way that you can maybe do something fresh, something new with Braun, potentially, on his return. So I could equally see them just throwing him straight back in there with Ricochet when he's back. But at the same time, Ricochet's a good person to count on for, a high-stakes, dramatic match like Money in the Bank. He's going to be absolutely stellar in that.
Yeah, right.
And I think, just put all the focus on that for now. And then when Braun returns, we can do something fun.
They were good fun as a tag team. Yeah. Hopefully we'll see more things.
It's serious surgery, so it's good to hear that he's getting on well with it, and it's hopefully not going to affect him in ring on his return.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Keeping it with WWE here, though, and keeping it with sort of just in and around titles off the back of the first video. It is very exciting. This is an update from Worked Wrestling. They've learned that they've learned that there are internal talks for Gunter to pass Honky Tonk's Man all-time historic Intercontinental Championship reign. He'd officially break the record on September 6th. And do it, you cowards! It's time to take that title record off Honky.
It is been something we've been saying on a Saturday morning news for months and months and months and months. It needs to happen.
Somebody's got to beat Honky's record.
Exactly.
Restore the title to glory.
I'm going to hold my hands up. I was hoping it was going to be Santino Marella back in the day with a Honky Tonka meter.
Yeah.
But now it should be Gunther. I hope he brings the Honky Tonka meter out. Just every week he updates us on how many days it is until he defeats that record.
In a very stern way.
Exactly. You have the rest of Imperium just read it out and
it is 15 days.
It's like Ludwig Kaiser's with us right now. But this is incredible. Hopefully, the thing is they can position that belt as much more than a mid-card title on Gunther. He is seen as the top heel on Raw. And what a way to do it by going...
Just don't have him hand off the belt to go into the next division.
But that's the thing. If he goes, this is my belt. I don't want that one at the moment. This is the most important. And it's a little note that they keep on making. It's the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Yeah. It adds to the belt. It makes it so much more prestigious.
And we can bring in the bantamweight and the lightweight.
Exactly. And all of the weights, just
everybody gets a belt. It's UFC.
You get a belt. You get a belt. Look under your seat. You've got a belt.
You have to pay gift taxes on that, though. Make sure you've got enough money. If not, leave that belt there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, keeping it with returns in WWE, keeping it with returns. Going back to returns, we were just talking about the IC title, Sam. This one is quite the hyped, very excitable. Everybody wants to see this person back. We are, of course, talking about Tommaso Ciampa. This is a report from the Observer. Apparently, Ciampa is set to be back in ring soon. It's believed that when Gargano mentioned on Raw that there was one more family member coming soon, that he was talking about Ciampa. This could point to DIY reforming as a team within the way, and Ciampa has been out of action since September after undergoing surgery on his hip. It was previously reported that Ciampa was backstage at this week's Raw. So I think, the return of DIY is certainly mouthwatering. It's a very tantalizing tag team to throw into that mix. I think that it's going to be just a hell of a time. It's going to be a hell of a time if we do get it. I think eventually we all know where it's got to head though. It's got to head to the bad place at least once more on the main roster.
Would love DIY versus Kevin and Sammy in a feud of which one's going to turn on the partner first. Like it would just be.
You see them just laboring on it outside. They're just reading their paper.
It would be so stressful.
Looking in the ring.
You would never know when that copyright logo appears. You're like, it's happening tonight. It's happening tonight. But Ciampa coming back, cannot wait for him and Johnny.
If they manage to get us with two logo, idents,
they can do
like
it.
The first one comes up and it's like, and then the attack happens. And then there's a second one, and we're like, there we go. And then the other turn happens. And then there's a third one.
It just keeps on going.
But either way, I can't wait to have Ciampa back. I think that's going to really reinvigorate quite a lot of what's going on right now.
Hopefully he's not dressed as The Miz again. Give him his actual
I
look.
choose to believe that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And we're going to move across the fence now to Tony Khan's magical land of wonders. This one concerns the Elite and their contract status. This one comes from the Wrestling Observer Newsletter again. But it's believed that AEW and the Elite, just kind of leading into this, are in the midst of contract negotiations. We've been hearing about this for some time. Kenny, of course, had a bit of a contract extension going on. But the Wrestling Observer suggests that AEW is getting more aggressive in trying to get the three to sign new contracts. Reports in May indicated that there'd been no movement in regard to new contracts for the three, and their contracts are nearing their end. Kenny Omega's in particular is set to expire later this year after that extension due to injury, as I said. So it's you can't have All Elite Wrestling without the Elite. It's just, I guess, how many zeros?
It's that, but question. Also at the same time, like, I could see, out of the three of them, I could see Kenny Omega trying to float some ideas elsewhere, because he's one of the top guys in the industry and he could fit in on any roster.
Oh yeah.
I don't picture them in WWE, but I feel like right now after how Cody Rhodes, and as much as the criticism that he should have beaten Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, still believe he should have, he's been treated like an absolute star. So you've got to wonder if the rest of the Elite are going, maybe. And another thing that I noticed online, people were discussing, Matt Jackson refused to get that back surgery so that he fought through that. And now his contract won't have been extended because of injury, which means their contracts are expiring around about the same time, which is a bigger move for them.
But how do you have All Elite Wrestling without the Elite?
I don't know. And it would be chaotic.
It would be mental. All Punk Wrestling.
That exactly.
The new Punk order.
There we go.
There you go.
All Punk Wrestling. No, but it'll be interesting to see if they do leave. I don't think they will, but having all their contracts expire at the same time is a smart move for them, because then they can work together.
The more that kind of wrestling goes on and the older I get, the more I feel as well, like if we are to get Kenny or the Bucks at all in WWE, it might be more like a one-off thing.
Yeah,
like a big special one-off event.
I mean, they were very close before AEW was formed.
Yeah,
we don't, they could have been in WWE before. Kenny worked for OVW back in the day. He could go back. We'll see. Elite, maybe sign him with AEW, maybe.
Yeah, I reckon they'll stay with AEW. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. That was your second lovely slice of weekend wrestling news. We may be back later on if anything else breaks, but if not, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, have a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Bye.